Sup fish tank people, I am going to make a public service announcement, if that's what we should call it. And it is about taking aquarium advice. So let me go over here. So sometimes we all give aquarium advice to people, especially to beginners, but sometimes we have it taken the wrong way. But sometimes it's partially my fault because I'm not thorough enough. So like one example, probably the most common example I see, is when like people have their fish in a way undersized tank, and I'm like, hey, they need like a 40-gallon minimum. So then like a couple weeks later they message me and they're like, hey, I finally upgraded my tank to a 40-gallon. And they show me a picture, and I'm just like, oh my god, cause the picture of the tank shows a 40-gallon, but it's a fucking hexagon. A hexagon 40-gallon size is pretty much the same length as a standard 20-gallon. You might as well put your fish in a 20-gallon if you're gonna do a 40 hex. Hexagon tanks serve no purpose. It's just water volume. Water volume is the least of the concern. Like, that's why now when I give aquarium advice, I always say 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 10 foot. Because if I just say gallons, I'm afraid people are going to make that same mistake again. And then another example of aquarium advice taken the wrong way is when it relates to these sharks over here. So people would complain that their 2 rainbow sharks or 2 red-tailed sharks are fighting too much. And I would say, well, you're either only supposed to have 1 or a group of 5 or more. Sharks need to be in a group of 5 or by themselves. So then they say, hey, I got more sharks, and they end up throwing like 2 red-tailed sharks and 3 Bala sharks together. And then I'm like, nope, Bala sharks do not count. I should have been more clear on that. Bala sharks are not labio species, so they will not become part of their hierarchy. It needs to be a group of rainbow sharks or red-tailed sharks or albino rainbow sharks. Because like roseline sharks too, those do not count. It has to be the labio species to put together. And also, oh, that just reminded me of another one. I told someone they need to have a group of 5 or more sharks or only 1. So they set up a shark tank, and it had like 2 red-tailed sharks, 2 albino sharks, and 2 rainbow sharks. And the tank was a 10-gallon tank. And I'm like, wow, I fucked up on that one. I should have said it needs like a 75-gallon minimum. I don't know. I noticed that many of these 2 examples were partially my fault for not being thorough enough. But still, shouldn't people be a little more smarter than that? They are newbies, by the way. But okay, so that's all for this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and also make sure you follow my Shamu Aquarium's Instagram page. So far 35 likes, but I haven't been promoting it that much. So that's all for this video. Bye.